What's up, you guys? Godzilla Fan Freak coming at you today, and I just want to note, I hope everybody had a great new year. We are officially in 2015, and what better way to start off the new year than with a figure review? And let's get right on to it. Today's figure review is another Christmas gift I got from my bro Daniel, and he got me the X Plus 30cm diamond reissue Gorosaurus. Just take a quick look at the box. This box is different than the original Gorosaurus box. This box is kind of the more generic. They're keeping it in with the same flow as other 30cm releases. Of course, to symbolize that it is a diamond reissue, you have the PX Previews exclusive logo up here. Picture of Gorosaurus. King Kong Escapes, Gorosaurus, 1967, because that was Gorosaurus' first appearance, wasn't King Kong Escapes. And so pretty much that's it. That's pretty much your generic X Plus box, but very nice. Now onto the figure itself. Here is Gorosaurus. Awesome figure. Straight into it with paint job. Paint job, very nice for the top part of his body. He has blends of all different kinds of colors, from grays to blues to greens to shades of brown. Very nicely blended, very nicely done. Again, he actually doesn't even have any shades of black to where I can see. It's all kind of a dark grayish and kind of a dark brown. But he does have some blues, maybe a little bit of green here and there, but I'm kind of seeing more of a grayish blue type color with him, all on the top side of his body. And then the underside of his body, very nice, tannish, kind of lizards type, style color. I do like all the pinkish and red color they mixed up here with the tans to give it kind of that fleshy look in his neck and the bottom of his chin. His teeth are white. His gums are a very nice red. His claws on his hands and his feet are pretty much the same tannish as the underside of his skin, except for the claws on his feet are more of a tinted, darker tan. All kinds of stuff going on in the eyes. The eyes on this guy are amazing. You have a little bit of white that goes to a smoky brown. Then you got a darker, then you have a black, and then you have a darker brown, and then you have another little tiny black dot, and then you have another little tiny white dot. So a lot of stuff going on in his eyes that make his eyes just pop. I want to say the eyes might be the best part on this guy. And then, of course, you have a nice glaze on them to give them just a little bit of a shine. But a very nice paint job all the way around. Detailing, very nice reptile-like skin. All the wrinkles and definitions from, the suit and everything are there. Very nicely done. All the, not scales, but all the kind of like circular kind of scale patterns all over his body. Not one is the same. They're all very nicely etched in and sculpted into the mold. Very nicely done. Pose very nice. He's hunched over. This leg's bent. This leg's a little more straight outwards. I love the way the tail kind of curves up and kind of comes out this way at a little bit more of a curve. Very nicely done. Teeth are very nicely individually sculpted. And I wanted to do a flashlight at this part of the review, but it just really wouldn't work. But he does have a individually sculpted tongue inside of that mouth, and that is really cool. Nostrils, very nicely etched into the mold there. All the spikes are consistent from the very base of his neck here. Start off small, get bigger, and then go small again, all the way down to the spike at the very end of his tail. Very nicely done. Hands, arms, very nicely done and sculpted. Legs and feet, very nicely done. One thing I will note about his feet claws is that they remind me of that kind of old cartoon style of, dinosaur cartoon claws, because that's what they look like to me. They look like the old kind of like Flintstone type dinosaur claws. They're not really sharp and deadly looking. They're more dull and kid friendly. But overall, great look for Gorosaurus. Dew claws, very nicely done. I do like how this dew claw is closer to the ground, just because of the way this leg is shaped and molded, and just because this leg is more at a curve and an angle and is bent, that the dew claw is raised up, and then you have this little bit of detail here of kind of his leg bone protruding from the leg underneath the skin. Very nicely done there. Just overall beautiful detail. Some suit detailings that I do want to point out. Right here in the tail, you have a very nice kink in the rubber, And that is a very nice suit detail right there, just to show that, you know, when the tail was curved like this, it did have a little bit of a kink in the rubber suit. And then another kink in the tail is right here. Very nicely well done. Very nicely well placed. Again, it's just another kink in the rubber suit itself from the tail being curved and bent this way. And then another nice little detail of the suit is when the actor was hunched over like this, it kind of warped the suit and kind of kinked it in a way to where it looks like this is indented on this side of his body and it kind of sticks out more than this side. So, I mean, that is a very nice paying attention to suit detail there, that they made that kind of warped this way for the mold. Very nicely well done. And as far as joints and seams goes, again, it's X+. They don't really have articulation, but you can adjust his knees and his ankles. You can adjust his arms and his tail, of course, where you connect it. Plus, it has a seam here and it has a seam there. But overall, very little articulation for this guy because it's X+. They're not made for articulation. And overall, great pose. He's ready to attack. Of course, this is kind of a pose from King Kong Escapes, but Gorosaurus is Gorosaurus, whether it's King Kong Escapes or Destroy All Monsters, all the same kaiju. Gorosaurus deserves a lot more credit than what he is given. He did take on King Kong, even though he did lose. He still put up a good fight, and he was pretty much in that movie to bring back that classic King Kong versus a T-Rex type dinosaur, type deal, because that was always a classic with the King Kong films. So that's what Gorosaurus did as a placeholder in that film. And then, of course, he came back and destroyed all monsters, and he deserves a lot of credit for that movie because he was a big part of the ending fight against Ghidorah, and he was the only monster in that movie to knock down Ghidorah twice. He went in, grabbed Ghidorah by the neck with his, of course, his big jaw, and he pulled him down. And eventually Ghidorah got back up, and that's when he eventually worked his way around to the backside, and he did his patented kangaroo kick and knocked Ghidorah down for good. So Gorosaurus deserves a lot of credit for that. He took down Ghidorah twice by himself without help from any of the other monsters. And so Gorosaurus deserves a lot more credit than he is given. If you are on the fence about this figure, I say get it. You can get it for the under $200 price tag since it's just released. I say get it. Because the original release of this guy is really rare, he's hard to find, and if you do, you're going to be paying a lot. So getting this guy for the $140 to $160 price tag, go for it. Gorosaurus has a great presence on the shelf. He does not disappoint. Overall, great kaiju to add to your X Plus collection. Anyway, you guys, that is all I have for this figure review. Let's make 2015 great and awesome. So many things to look forward to, including G-Fest. And like always, guys, we are Godzilla Fan Freaks. Please comment, like, and subscribe. And we will see you guys in the next video review. Thank you for watching.